Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm just doing a walkthrough of what I'm calling a vintage furniture store, even though technically not all the furniture is vintage, but they do have a lot of vintage furniture and like homeware kind of stuff like lamps and, as you can see, art. So I'm just gonna go with that. So I've only been here one other time, and I will say they did have a lot more like mid-century-esque stuff the last time I was here, but I thought I posted a walkthrough of a store a few weeks ago and it did really well, so I thought this might be something that is of interest to people, and I thought of this store. We were going to be in the area, so I just went for it. So the store itself has a lot of stuff in it, so it's a little bit tight at times, but this piece really caught my eye. I'm not sure when this would have been from. It's not the style that I put in my own house, but I did think it was really beautiful. I think the price was like $300. I was trying to show the prices, but they're not showing up very well, and I can't remember all of the prices because this was like over a week ago now, but I thought this piece was really nice. I love all the detail in a lot of vintage furniture versus now. I loved this plastic plant. I don't know why, it just reminds me of the 70s so much. I thought this chair was really nice too, but it would probably need to be like recovered, but it was like a pale velvet. I don't know. Again, it's like I love them, but it's not the style I would put in my house. I think this is sort of like French provincial. This couch that I'm about to show as well, I believe that's what the style is considered. I also really liked this lamp that was there. I'm not sure how old that is either. I just thought this might be interesting to people to watch walkthroughs. The last one I did performed pretty well, so we were going to be in the area anyway, so I thought it was a good time. I do really love those couches, but it's not like my personal style that I'd want in my home. And then there's more like modern kind of pieces, I think, like maybe like 90s, early 2000s stuff, like maybe that chair. I'm definitely not an expert on vintage furniture though, so don't take my word for anything here. I'm just guessing. I just like looking at it. So there's also a really good chance that I missed things that I've like filmed but didn't mention, probably because I didn't notice them at the time. I know I watched through this footage once before recording the voiceover, and I noticed this amazing lamp that I totally didn't see. They had a vintage sewing machine, which I love these so much. They're just so cute. And I had this Elvis. I think it's supposed to be for your Christmas tree maybe. I'm sure that probably won't take long to sell with the Elvis movie just coming out recently. I feel like that's probably renewed a lot of interest in Elvis. And I love these vintage washboards too. I'm not sure what that round thing was. I'm not sure if that is like a very primitive like washer or something. I didn't notice it when I was in the store. And then this is, again, to me this looks very like 90s furniture, maybe early 2000s. I did notice these angels that were sitting up in the window that I thought were super cute. And then here's another couch that I believe is like French provincial style. I could be totally wrong about that, so again, I'm no expert. And then they had this kind of like embroidered painting thing sitting on it, which I thought was cute. I was considering getting it, actually. I'm kind of considering doing like a gallery wall with that kind of like vintage, like cross-stitch type paintings, or I don't know why I'm calling them paintings, but you know what I mean. And then this actually looks very similar to the one that I bought for my bathroom. Like I feel like it would match really well, but I don't have any more room in my bathroom. I would put it like behind the door. It's just the door would hit it, so. And then for any other fellow Canadians, I'm sure you recognize this guy, but this is Zeddy. He was our department store mascot. That is, Zeller's now not in business. I loved these end tables, even though they're not like the style I would put in my house. I thought they were beautiful. Again, I think I'm trying to show the price, but I don't know if it's coming through. I can't see it when I'm recording this. So I don't know if you can see it on a bigger one, but I thought they were beautiful. And I'm not sure what this, oh, this was like a stepper. I think they were really popular in like the 80s. And then we've got some more like modern looking furniture. And I loved this old like footstool, the green one. It's in a pretty rough shape, but it just reminds me so much of like the 60s and 70s. And then they also had like a white one, like more like an ottoman, but that one also looked semi rough shape. But the store is I wouldn't say too far. It's like over an hour to get there from where we lived, but there was a few places we went to. I loved these old ashtrays too. I feel like smoking was such a thing in the past that like your ashtray was like a piece of furniture. I know my grandparents had one, not in that style, but in another style. It's so interesting too because I don't even think that they put ashtrays like in cars anymore, which, I mean, good, but it's just weird how much things change in a relatively short period of time. So then they had a couple of vintage end tables. They're the style that I have in my living room, which I love. They remind me so much of like my grandma's house when I was little. And then they had some chairs back there as well that were really pretty. Like I said, it's kind of like tight quarters, so there wasn't always a way to get to things, but I loved the pattern on that one that I just zoomed in on. And then they had a china cabinet that was more the style that I want mine to be. I'm filming a video about my dining room, and I talk about it in that video, how I'm not super into my dining room, and just, I don't know when I'll put that video out because I'm trying to give it a makeover. So, and in any case, when I eventually put that video out, this is the style that I'm talking about wanting. So I don't know. They have a lot of really nice ones here that I liked, so maybe I'll just end up getting one from here because I think that they do free delivery even if you live far away, so it's kind of cool. I loved this lamp so much. The shade was a bit damaged, but I was immediately drawn to it. I actually am still thinking about it. It's just beautiful. I love how pretty things were in the past versus now. I just feel like everything looks super generic and like cookie cutter. I feel like the store actually had a lot of lamps that I loved. Here we've got a big chandelier, like quite large actually. I feel like it must be for like an entryway or maybe a very big dining room with like very high ceilings, but I'm not sure if these parts went with it or not. It was kind of confusing, but pretty large. And then I did manage to get a little closer to the chairs from another angle. I really liked the color of the blue on this one. Ugh, I spent like over an hour in here walking around. I felt bad because John had pretty much looked at everything in about 15 minutes, but they had a lot of dressers as well. I really liked this lamp as well. This reminds me of something that would have been in my grandma's house, like back in the 70s or something. They had a lot of dressers and a lot of china cabinets. Some pieces were definitely in a little rough condition, and of course more ashtrays because, you know. And then there was this table here. I'm sure this had been recovered, but I liked the fabric a lot on these chairs. I just thought it was very unique. And then the table itself was quite large and it had the leaf there, but it looks like someone had just painted it. But I still think it was pretty. And then there was another big chandelier type thing. Again, it's so big it would have to be, I don't know, I would think like pretty high ceilings, and or maybe in a entryway with really high ceilings. They had a lot of tables actually. I'm not sure if any of them were really old tables or not though. I really liked the bowl, that big bowl that was sitting on this table. And then behind it, like, you have another china cabinet. I think the first one I showed was my favorite, but I do like this one, the details on the drawers and the cupboards. And I really like the color. I'm a big fan of like dark wood color. I'm not sure of the age of this table and chair set, but I loved these chairs. I loved the bottom part. of them. And then actually, when John noticed them, it's the first thing that he said too. He's like, oh, I really like these chairs. It sort of gives me like a little boho vibes. And then we've got another table. They had this like Betty Boop dish set on top. I think I might have zoomed in. They did have one of these end tables that it's like the end table and the lamp are one piece. And I actually really like the painting that was behind it, but I didn't even notice it while I was filming this. And then of course another dining table. And I'm sure the dishes were new, but I just thought it was cute. And then they had a punch bowl too on the table. So next we have a pair of lamps that I am completely obsessed with. The shades were definitely damaged, but I love the color green. I love the shape of them. I actually can't stop thinking about them. And it's just, I don't know how easy it would be to find like replacement shades, but I just love them. I'm not sure what you could do to try and fix the shades or not, but so now we're definitely starting to move more into like the dresser kind of section. I think my parents had like this exact dresser, or if not, it was very similar, but it's the one with like the mirror that's kind of like its own piece with shelves on the side. And I always loved it when I was younger. I was like, I want one of those dressers, but I don't really have room for it because we have slanted ceilings. Here was another table. I think this was probably my favorite table out of all the tables they had, but I'm not sure of its age at all. Then they had this like wardrobe thing there, I think. I'm guessing that's what that was. And then this dresser reminds me of something that would have been in my grandma's house when I was a kid, like from like leftover from the 70s. So here, this lamp, again, I probably wouldn't put it in my house, but I loved the shape of it and like the color green. This reminds me of something that would have been in my like my dad's mom's house when I was a kid. I did like this little table with the like wicker kind of drawers as well. And then they had another one of those style dressers with the mirror with the shelves. Every time I see one, I just can't help but think about like my parents, and because I feel like they had it for as long as I can remember, like as a child, but I think they still have it even. I guess that's the one thing, like you could buy quality furniture at like a reasonable price and it would last you like 20 or 30 years, because I mean they must have had it since the early 90s. And they had some bed frames over here in this corner, as well as this chair. Looked pretty old. And they had this thing, I think it might be some piece of exercise equipment, but I couldn't quite figure it out. And even looking at the footage, I still couldn't figure out what it was supposed to be, but I think that that's what it was supposed to be, but I could be totally wrong. But I don't know, it looks old anyway. It looks like 70s or 80s looking. I did see these dogs, and I thought these would go perfect in my bathroom, but I didn't get them. So this vanity is actually my favorite piece, I think, that they had in the whole store. I want one of these so bad. I've wanted one for such a long time. I'm not sure if I have the room for it, to be honest. I don't know, but I just love them. I've loved them for as long as I can remember, and every time I see one, I'm like, oh, I want this so bad. I thought this one was really nice. I really liked the color of wood. I feel like it wasn't too bad of a price either. I've seen them for more, so I don't know. And then this is it's an older TV stand, because obviously with the tube TVs, but it's like probably early 2000s. And then right here, as I walked by to look at this corner shelf, I did not even notice the amazing lamp right behind it. So I'm going to just cut in footage and slow it down. I can't believe that I didn't notice it, but while I was watching the footage, it caught my eye. So I seen the green one first, And I believe that this is one of those lamps that goes from the floor to the ceiling. I think it's called like tension or something. So you can see the green one, and then you can see a red one, and it's just coming off of the pole there. So unfortunately I didn't get any more footage, like more of, I'm sure that there's another color above the red one is what I'm trying to get to, but that's what I'm guessing this lamp is, and I think it's amazing. I can't believe I didn't notice it in the store. I noticed it immediately when I was watching the footage. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't notice that. I might be passing through that way again though in a few weeks, so I don't know. I might go in and see if it's still there and how much it is, but to me that's like the ultimate lighting situation when it comes to vintage. This is not my style at all, but I thought it was beautiful. This entryway like bench with a place for shoes. It even had a little place for your umbrellas, and it was just very grand, and I got a better shot of it from the other side in a bit. They had this other like just very simple dresser. They had a lot of dressers actually. And then this mirror, I'm pretty sure my grandma actually had the same mirror. This very grand headboard and bed frame as well, which looks to me like early 2000s. Again, I'm not an expert. To be honest though, I don't think I would ever pay $75 for a mirror. I don't know. And then they also had, like I said, more dressers. I feel like this dresser looks a lot like one that was in my grandma's house when I was a kid. They had all these vintage pipes too. They didn't have a price on the dresser. Again, more dressers. And then this last one actually had a matching end table with it as well. I thought the I did actually really like a lot of the dressers that were there. Some of them weren't in the greatest condition, but like this one, unfortunately, you can tell that someone obviously taped the drawers while they were moving it, and then, you know, a lot of these aren't made from real wood, so it like took the finish off, which is unfortunate, but you could maybe put that end against a wall or something. Like that's something I would do if I really liked it. I really liked this little like trunk basket thing. I'm actually looking for something like that for my closet, but I want something a little bigger, but then afterwards I did think, oh, maybe that would have worked. I liked that dresser as well. And then we've got yet another dresser. If I ever need a dresser, I know where I can go find some. I thought this lamp was really pretty. I have one that's like similar to it. And there was the matching. Unfortunately, when we bought our house, we were actually in a lockdown, so we couldn't go anywhere. Like, I didn't even see the house, like, in person until the day that it was ours. But I mean, I had lived in the house before because it's my childhood home, but... And then this is, like, I guess a newer style entertainment stand, but older. I think this is where, like, the TV goes. My parents have something similar to this, except it's way, way nicer. And again, they've had it for, like, probably 30 years. Another one of those style lamps. I do really like them, but they're not, like, my style, I guess. I do have one, but other than that, I don't have any more. These are like those dolls of the world, I think, that are like super inappropriate now. I think so anyway. So you could buy them either as a set or just one piece, although I think it would just be dumb to just buy one piece. I don't know. And then they had like an older stereo. I mean, older is probably like 90s. I can't believe how long ago the 90s was now. It makes me feel really old. I really liked this dresser too. I liked the color of it. I thought it was pretty. And it's like Winnie the Pooh lamp. Those were like a matching set, I believe. Yes, they were. And I did take a picture of the price. That's actually not bad for two dressers like that. At least I think so. Keep in mind as well, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm sure most of you know, but in case you don't, I live in Canada, so I know most of my viewers live in the US and the dollar is like not the same. So I'm sure if you live in Canada, you're already well aware of that. But sometimes people in the US don't realize like how big of a difference it is sometimes in pricing. And here is another shot from the other side of that piece. Like I said, it's not my like personal style, but I just thought it was so beautiful. I don't know, I feel like they don't really make like nice quality beautiful furniture anymore, or at least it's not like readily available like it used to be. And we've got like a desk here. We're kind of starting to get to the like the end, sort of like the back corner. I thought this tree was really interesting too. It reminded me of like a Japanese cherry blossom tree or something. You'd have to have like a pretty big space to put that in though. I had this big white sectional back here. I don't know, I can't think of anything worse than white furniture. Especially if you had like pets or children, like I feel like it would just be ruined in one day. And they did have these two big trunks, which I also really liked, and I was thinking, oh, maybe one of these would work in my closet, but I don't know. They're also like very old looking and probably quite expensive. And they had this like, I forget, I don't know the exact name, but they're like where you play the game, but you're moving the figures with like these poles that you turn. I feel like, I don't know, kids today probably wouldn't even care to play with something like that, but they were very popular when I was a child. I really liked this piece as well. I think it's like a sideboard, or at least that's what I took it to be. It's just really nice. Again, I don't have room for something like this, but it's not my exact style, but I did think it was really beautiful. For some reason, this piece in particular made me think of like the Bewitched house, like in the dining room area. I don't even know if they had anything like it there, but it just made me think of that. And they had this old like box fan, I think that's what they're called, but it was like a teal color. I thought it looked really interesting. And then they had another trunk that it had some like old teddy bear. Well, it looks pretty old. And then I think that other one was supposed to be like Humpty Dumpty, maybe. And they just had some games in here. They weren't all vintage, but they did have a few vintage ones in there. So then they had another kind of entryway bench and hooks for coats and all that. And another like older style entertainment stand. This one must have been for a fairly large TV, 'cause it's quite a hole there. You know, cut out for like the back part of the tube. And we've got, these give me like major 90s vibes. This coffee table and end table glass with the gold. And then here is, next to the vanity, my favorite pieces in the store. I'm not sure how old they are, but I loved these stools. I just loved them. I don't have any place for them or any need for them, but I think it's totally worth the money because I think they're amazing, but I don't have a reason or a place for them. I didn't really spend too much time in the section that just had like housewares, but this old style radio caught my eye. I thought it was cute. I'm sure it doesn't work, but it would be a cool display piece, I think. And then yet another china cabinet. This one sort of has more of a new-ish vibe to it, I think. I could be wrong though. Then we've got another desk and a lamp on top of it. I don't even think I noticed it while I was in the store, so I didn't really get good footage of it. But then I stumbled across this binder that had, I guess they're like, I'm not sure, like they almost look like they're comics or something, but it's like stories. So it was the Time Machine that caught my eye. And so I just started flipping through it, and then eventually I found The Wizard of Oz, which I thought is that's my favorite movie. And so I was like, oh, this would be so cool to have, but they were selling it as a full set, so And I wouldn't have any use for any of the other ones. I just thought it was really cool looking. I didn't look to see what the year was, but, and I forget how much they were selling it all for, but, oh, okay, there it is. I'm sure it's worth the money. I just don't have a need for them. And then they had this grandfather clock here, which is neat. I love them, but like not in my own house. I feel like I have been saying that a lot in this video. So now we're basically in the back corner of the store, and I actually forgot about this little wicker shelf until right now, and I wish that I would have got it. I think it was only $30, and oh, I just loved it. And they had another old chair back here as well. I feel like they just had a lot of miscellaneous things. They had these shelves. I'm not sure if they were for sale or just to display things, but they have this Blue Mountain pottery on them, which is like this pottery that was made in Canada that like everybody had at least 5 pieces. If you were like married in the 70s or 80s, I feel like that's what you got. I did like this little stool, this little orange stool. I think my grandma had something identical in her basement actually when I was growing up. And this looks like a mini fridge from the 80s, maybe even 70s, I don't know. It was interesting, like wood paneling. That's what made me think of like early 80s. And I did like this silverware set. I thought it was really pretty in the green. And then I tried to open the drawer and the lid was falling down, so I was like, okay, I should probably just stop touching it. And yet another china cabinet back here. And then this table, which was interesting. It's funny, there had so much stuff in the store that I know there's tons of stuff I missed, but it also took me like over an hour to look at everything that I did look at. They had this bookshelf with a bunch of old like Nancy Drew mysteries. These reminded me of Hummel figurines, but I'm not sure if they actually were or not. And then I did like this table as well, with like the wicker kind of around the edges. And I thought this juice pitcher or water pitcher, I guess, and glasses was cute. Anyway, that is it. There's way more I could have shown you in there, but like I said, it took like an hour just to get this. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you like these types of videos, be sure to give this video a like or let me know in the comments what you liked, and I will do more of them.